Welcome to the Human Curious. If you're fascinated by the mysteries of the animal kingdom, you're in the right place. This is going to blow your mind. Imagine this, you walk outside. A crow lands nearby. It cocks its head, then it speaks. It says your name. This sounds like a scene from a fantasy novel or perhaps a dream. For most of human history, such an event would be just that. Yet, the idea of speaking to animals is not new. It is a very, very old idea. It stretches back into the mists of time, a persistent whisper in the human story. What if this whisper became a reality? What if today the barrier shattered? This enduring fascination with communicating with other creatures is deeply woven into our collective consciousness. It's a thread that runs through countless cultures, spanning continents and millennia. Think of the stories children are told, tales of wise owls, cunning foxes, and loyal dogs, all capable of conversing with humans. These are not mere flights of fancy for entertainment. They reflect a profound, almost primal curiosity, a wonder about the other minds that share our planet. We see intelligence in their eyes, purpose in their actions. We naturally wonder what they might say if they could. Ancient myths and sacred texts are filled with accounts of such interspecies dialogue. From the tales of King Solomon, said to understand the speech of beasts and birds, to the shamanistic traditions where spirit animals guide and communicate vital wisdom. These stories suggest a golden age, a time when the lines between human and animal were not so sharply drawn. Perhaps humans once possessed this ability, or maybe these are allegories expressing a desire for unity with the natural world. Either way, the message is clear. Communication with animals was seen as possible, even sacred. These narratives from every corner of the globe are more than just charming folklore. They represent a persistent human belief, a hope, perhaps even a deeply buried memory of a time when we were not so separate, when the language of the forest, the plains and the oceans was not a closed book to us. The allure of unlocking this secret language is powerful. It taps into a fundamental part of what it means to be human, to seek understanding, to connect with the vast web of life that surrounds us. What forgotten truths lie hidden in these ancient tales? Don't forget to subscribe, share and like this video. Why does this dream persist? Why in our modern age does the thought of talking to animals still captivate us? It speaks to a fundamental human need, a need to connect with the other. Animals are sentient beings. They experience the world differently. This difference makes communication compelling. It hints at a broader community of minds. This yearning is a testament to our empathy. It's about truly listening. So we have these ancient myths, we have this persistent, deep-seated dream. But what if it wasn't just a myth? What if it wasn't just a dream? What if today you woke up with the ability to understand the buzzing of a bee, the bark of your dog, the song of a whale? Or what if technology, in a sudden breakthrough, handed us the key, a universal translator for the myriad voices of the animal kingdom? This is the hypothetical scenario we are exploring. A world transformed by the sudden unlocking of interspecies communication. The question is no longer confined to the realm of fantasy or spiritual aspiration. It teeters on the edge of speculative science and profound philosophical inquiry. If this gift, whether mystical or technological, were bestowed upon us, what would happen next? The implications are staggering. They ripple outwards, touching every facet of human existence and our relationship with the planet. It's a shift so fundamental it would challenge our most basic assumptions about ourselves and the world we inhabit. It would be a true paradigm shift, a revolution in understanding. The secrets that could be revealed are almost beyond imagining. Animals could share intimate knowledge of their ecosystems. They could provide early warnings of natural disasters. They might offer insights into their complex social structures, their emotional lives, their unique ways of perceiving reality. Imagine the scientific breakthroughs, the advancements in conservation, the ethical dilemmas we would face. How would our legal systems adapt? How would our diets change? How would our hearts and minds expand or perhaps break? This exploration is an invitation to step into this transformed world for a moment, to consider the profound possibilities and the equally profound responsibilities. If we could genuinely speak to animals, What would they tell us about themselves? What would they tell us about us? How would our relationship with the entire animal kingdom, our shared environment, and even our understanding of consciousness itself be irrevocably altered? Let us open our minds to this extraordinary possibility and begin to explore its depths. The dream of speaking with animals is ancient. It is a thread woven through our myths, our legends, our oldest stories. As we saw, humans have long yearned for this connection, but this dream is no longer confined to the whispers of mystics or the pages of storybooks. New champions are emerging in the bright, sterile environments of modern laboratories. Scientists and technologists are picking up this ancient quest. The tools are changing, the methods evolving, yet the fundamental question echoes still: can we truly, finally bridge this immense communication gap? Here, the ancient, heartfelt dream of humanity meets the cutting edge of 21st century science. The silent revolution in animal cognition. Understanding animal minds is crucial. Research reveals their complex thoughts and emotions. From primates to cetaceans, breakthroughs abound. These discoveries reshape our understanding. Animals are sentient beings, not mere automatons. Their emotional depth is profound. This knowledge is key for future communication. Section 3. Artificial intelligence, forging the key to interspecies dialogue. AI offers a powerful tool for deciphering animal communication. It performs sophisticated pattern recognition and analyzes vast data sets. Animal communication is a diverse tapestry of signals. AI can sift through this complexity, finding meaning. Imagine feeding algorithms data sets of animal signals. AI could identify patterns and translate signals. This is not just a dream. Early efforts are underway. Scientists are applying AI to animal communication. The digital key is being forged. Section 4. Whispers of Tomorrow, Early Steps and Future Horizons. Early-stage technologies are bridging the communication divide between humans and animals. Apps interpret barks and meows into basic emotional states. Touchscreen interfaces allow apes to express basic needs. These are baby steps on a long road. But every journey begins with first steps. Future technologies may enable sophisticated interspecies communication. The quest to hear what animals have to say is on. Imagine the world through their senses. Animals are the frontline observers of our planet. Their survival depends on noticing the slightest changes. They are the living barometers of ecological health. What if we could tap into this network of natural sentinels? Their insights could guide policy and protect ecosystems. Animals would become active partners in safeguarding the planet. Why are there not more people talking about the secrets of animal survival? Animals are the inheritors of ancient wisdom. They carry within them millions of years of evolutionary knowledge. This knowledge is deeply embedded in their behaviors, their instincts, and their very DNA. It is a tapestry woven from countless generations of survival in specific, often harsh environments. They know how to find food in scarcity, how to seek shelter from storms, and how to navigate vast distances without maps or compasses. They understand the subtle rhythms of their ecosystems, the secret languages of plants, and the intricate dance of predator and prey. This is a library of the survival strategies. Think of the practical secrets they could share if we could only ask. Imagine learning about previously unknown medicinal plants directly from a primate that uses them to treat ailments. Picture a desert tortoise explaining its incredible water conservation techniques, or migratory birds detailing their precise navigation cues, perhaps revealing sensory abilities we barely understand. They could teach us sustainable foraging methods, showing us how to harvest without depleting resources. These are not just interesting facts. They could be vital lessons for human resilience in a changing world. The depth of their ecological intelligence is likely far beyond our current appreciation. This knowledge extends far beyond simple survival tricks. It encompasses complex social strategies, resource management, and even forms of natural engineering. Beavers build dams that create entire wetland ecosystems. Ants practice sophisticated agriculture with fungi. Termites construct elaborate, climate-controlled mounds. If they could explain the principles behind these feats, it could unlock new approaches to sustainable human living. Their solutions are often elegant, energy efficient, and perfectly adapted to local conditions. We often speak of biomimicry in design. Imagine biomimicry in societal organization learned directly from the source. Unlocking their languages could therefore lead to a renaissance in how we approach challenges like food security, resource management, and even disaster preparedness. Their time-tested strategies, refined over eons, offer a vast, untapped resource of innovation. It is not about simply copying what they do, but understanding the underlying principles of their success. This dialogue could reveal profound ecological truths, helping us to live more harmoniously within the natural systems that sustain us all. The secrets of survival are all around us, whispered on the wind, enacted in every forest and ocean. What animal communication fact has surprised you the most so far? Let us know in the comments. Animals perceive the world through an astonishing variety of senses. Their experience of reality is often profoundly different from our own. Humans are predominantly visual creatures, but many animals rely more heavily on smell, hearing, or senses we can barely imagine. What is it like to see the world in the ultraviolet spectrum as many insects and birds do? How does a dog experience the universe through its incredibly nuanced sense of smell, reading stories in scents we cannot detect? Or consider a bat navigating in total darkness using echolocation, painting a picture of its surroundings with sound. If we could access these diverse sensory worlds through communication, it would be like opening countless new windows onto reality. Imagine a whale describing the three-dimensional soundscape of the deep ocean, a world of clicks, songs, and rumbles carrying information across vast distances. Or an eel explaining how it perceives the Earth's magnetic fields to guide its incredible migrations. These are not just alternative ways of sensing, they are alternative ways of knowing, of constructing a model of the world. Their perspectives could fundamentally challenge our often narrow, human-centric view of what is real and what is important. This exposure to radically different umwelts, the unique sensory and perceptual worlds of other species, could lead to profound intellectual and philosophical shifts. Our current understanding of consciousness, intelligence, and even the nature of life itself is largely based on our own human experience. Hearing from other minds, other forms of awareness, could shatter these limitations. It might teach us that intelligence is not a single peak with humans at the top, but a vast, diverse landscape with many different summits. We might discover forms of thought, emotion, and social complexity that we previously dismissed or failed to recognize. Such a dialogue would force us to confront our own cognitive biases. It would encourage a deep humility, a recognition that our human way of seeing and understanding is just one among many. The universe, it might turn out, is far richer, far more complex, and far stranger than our current philosophies dream of. By learning to see through their eyes, hear through their ears, and understand through their minds, we might finally begin to appreciate the true diversity of experience that this planet holds. This would be a humbling yet incredibly enriching expansion of human consciousness itself. Communicating with animals would be a mirror reflecting our own world. Understanding their social structures and emotions, we gain insights into our behaviors. What could chimpanzees tell us about power? What could wolves teach us about loyalty? Their perspectives on us would be revealing. How do they perceive our actions and impact? This dialogue could foster unprecedented empathy. It could transform our ethical frameworks, leading to a radical re-evaluation of animal rights. Ultimately, it could lead to a deeper understanding of ourselves. Are we as unique as we believe? The whispers of the wild might teach us the most about our own humanity. To suddenly understand the language of animals would be an incredible gift. But with this gift comes a profound weight. Knowledge brings responsibility. Once we can truly hear what animals are saying, we can no longer pretend ignorance. We can no longer easily dismiss their suffering, their needs, or their perspectives. This new understanding would force us to confront uncomfortable truths about our world. The moral landscape of our interactions with other species would shift dramatically, becoming far more complex and demanding. If animals could communicate their thoughts and feelings with clarity, the very concept of animal rights would transform. Our current legal systems overwhelmingly treat animals as property, things to be owned and used. But if an animal can express self-awareness, a desire for life, and complex emotional states, then this classification becomes deeply problematic. We would be compelled to ask, do they deserve legal personhood, or at least significantly expanded legal protections that reflect their sentience? The practical challenges of implementing such new rights would be immense. How would animal testimony be presented in a court of law? Who would act as their legal representatives? These questions open up a Pandora's box of legal complexities. The potential for legal battles and societal disagreement would be vast, as old norms collide with new realities. If animals are no longer mere property, what does this mean for pet ownership as we know it? What about zoos, aquariums and circuses, industries built upon the premise of animal captivity and display? Imagine a community needing to expand into a forest inhabited by animals who clearly voice their opposition. These scenarios would test our ethical frameworks to their limits. With the ability to understand animals comes a difficult question. How much should we intervene in the natural world? Nature is often brutal, characterized by predation, disease, and starvation. Our empathy might compel us to act, but where would we draw the line? The danger of well-intentioned intervention leading to unintended consequences is enormous. Ecosystems are incredibly complex, and our understanding of them is still far from complete. If we decide to protect prey animals from all predators, what happens to the predator populations? Our attempts to alleviate suffering in one area could inadvertently cause ecological imbalances and greater suffering elsewhere. Conservation efforts would also face new ethical dilemmas. If endangered species can articulate their plight, the emotional pressure to save them would intensify. Would we be more inclined to save species that are more eloquent or charismatic in their communication? True respect might mean acknowledging animal autonomy, even when their ways of life involve elements that humans find distressing. The ultimate test might be our ability to listen and learn rather than to immediately impose our solutions. The world of science would be turned upside down. Imagine a zoologist no longer limited to passive observation through binoculars or tracking collars. Suddenly, she could conduct direct interviews. She could ask a snow leopard about its hunting strategies. This capability would ignite a new scientific revolution. Fields like ethology, ecology, and marine biology would not just advance, they would be fundamentally reborn. The potential for discovery would be truly immense. Animals could guide researchers to entirely new biological phenomena we never suspected. Imagine a primate describing a plant with medicinal properties unknown to human science. Consider the impact on veterinary science and animal welfare research. Instead of relying solely on behavioral cues or physiological measurements, veterinarians could ask directly. This would allow for far more accurate diagnoses and more effective tailored treatments. For animals in managed care, their ability to communicate specific needs or discomforts would lead to profoundly improved standards of well-being. Science would become a more collaborative, more linguistic, and arguably a more complete discipline. Conservation efforts would undergo a radical transformation. Animals themselves would become our most valuable informants. Imagine rangers receiving real-time alerts from elephants about poaching activities. Picture marine animals reporting the exact locations of illegal fishing nets or chemical spills. This direct, immediate intelligence would empower conservationists to act with unprecedented speed and precision. The planning and execution of habitat restoration projects would become far more effective. Instead of making educated guesses about what a particular species needs to thrive, we could simply ask them. This collaborative approach would dramatically increase the chances of long-term success for conservation initiatives. What happens when different species offer conflicting testimonies regarding resource use or habitat needs? Allocating limited conservation resources might become even more ethically fraught. Ultimately, unlocking animal languages would shift conservation from a model of human stewardship to one of genuine partnership. The goal would no longer be just to protect animals from us, but to work with them. Our daily lives would be utterly transformed by this newfound ability. Imagine waking up to the specific morning greetings chirped by the birds outside your window. Your loyal pet dog or cat could clearly articulate their dreams from the night before. The bond we share with our companion animals would deepen beyond measure. It would evolve from an intuitive understanding into genuine, nuanced conversation. This profound transformation would extend far beyond our beloved household pets. The pigeons congregating in the city square might be heard discussing the quality of the discarded crumbs. Squirrels scampering in your garden could audibly negotiate territorial boundaries. Farm animals would suddenly have voices. Their expressions of basic needs, contentment, or distress would become a tangible part of our agricultural landscapes. Public parks would be recognized as complex, interconnected communities of diverse inhabitants. The simple act of gardening might evolve into direct negotiations with the very creatures that share your plants. The overall emotional impact of this constant flowing interspecies communication would be undeniably profound for humanity. Life itself would feel infinitely richer, more deeply textured, and refreshingly less human-centric. Unlocking the secret language of animals would be far more than a scientific breakthrough. It would represent a fundamental shift in human consciousness itself. Imagine the moment we truly grasp that we are not the sole proprietors of complex thought, emotion, and experience on this planet. The profound realization would ripple through our philosophies, our spiritual beliefs, and our very sense of self. We would learn that consciousness is not a singular peak occupied by humanity, but a vast, multifaceted landscape. Our perceived place in the natural order would be completely redefined. The long-held illusion of human dominion would crumble. In its place, a deep sense of interconnectedness would emerge. We would see ourselves not as masters of a silent world, but as one voice in a vibrant, planetary chorus. This perspective would foster a profound humility. Our responsibilities would shift from exploitation to genuine stewardship. The transformative potential of this new dialogue would touch every facet of our existence. It would be a revolution not just of knowledge, but of relationship. Humanity's journey would be forever changed, guided by a symphony of voices, leading us towards a future where understanding bridges the divide and all life is heard. If you enjoyed this journey into the secret language of animals, make sure to subscribe, share, and comment below.